Welcome to the Open House public meeting for the State College Area Connector Planning and Environmental Linkage Study, or PEL for short. At the September 2021 Open House public meeting, PennDOT received numerous comments and concerns regarding the information collected and the alternatives developed for this study. Today, you will receive an update on the PEL traffic, environmental resources, and build alternative modifications. This presentation provides an overview of the information being presented at this meeting. As noted during the previous public open house meetings, a PEL study is designed to identify transportation problems and potential solutions within a defined geographic area. The goal or purpose of this PEL study is to develop and evaluate a range of alternatives to improve mobility and meet interstate, local, and regional travel needs by reducing congestion, addressing safety, and improving system continuity. Since the last meeting, PennDOT's team has continued to refine the collected data and corridor alternatives to address comments and advance the study. Since September, PennDOT has been working to refine the traffic analysis to better identify and understand how traffic is moving through the study area, specifically the various trip origins and destinations. PennDOT used traffic data collected by an independent company called Streetlight, which tracks electronic data from vehicles or cell phones at identified roadway locations. This information documents trip patterns, allowing engineers to enhance the traffic model to predict future traffic for the alternatives. The model can provide a comparison on how the various build alternatives meet the purpose and needs and the roadway network functions. The origin and destination study was updated to better identify local versus regional trips by endpoint, direction of travel, and vehicle type such as passenger vehicles and trucks. The traffic analysis determined that nearly 40% of eastbound trips by all vehicle types through the study area were regional in nature, meaning that the starting and ending point of the trip occurred outside of the traffic study area. Conversely, nearly 60% of all trips were local, meaning either the beginning or end point of the trip was within the traffic analysis area for the study. Westbound traffic through the study area showed similar results, with 44% of trips being regional and 56% of the trips being local. For both scenarios, the State College area was the origin or destination for more than 50% of all trips. Notable differences were identified when comparing the traffic patterns of passenger and truck vehicles, including heavy trucks such as semis and medium trucks such as local delivery vehicles. Nearly 85% of all trucks traveling eastbound were regional trips, with over half of those trips originating in northwest Pennsylvania or beyond by way of Interstate 80. Only 15% of eastbound truck trips were local trips. Westbound truck trips had similar travel patterns. Conversely, over 70% of all passenger vehicles traveling both eastbound and westbound were local trips, either originating or ending within the study area. In summary, the findings of the origin and destination study confirmed that passenger and truck vehicles have different travel patterns, and there is a transportation need in the study area to develop solutions to address both modes of travel. Traffic volumes for the no-build, upgrade existing roadway, and various build alternatives were refined based on the origin and destination data and existing traffic counts collected. These traffic counts will be updated during the detailed environmental study and preliminary engineering phases of the project to refine the design of alternatives recommended by this PEL study and ensure that decisions on preferred alternatives are based on up-to-date information. The traffic boards presented in the open house area of the public meeting provide further details on the traffic analyses. Another area that has been updated since the September 2021 Open House public meeting is many of the environmental resource datasets. Specifically, properties and agricultural preservation programs such as Agricultural Security Areas, Act 319, Clean and Green, and conservation easements were updated. For aquatic resources, new minor tributaries and various stream classifications were also updated. The socioeconomic dataset updates included conducting windshield surveys to identify residential and commercial properties, coordinating with local residents and municipal staff on residential communities, identifying additional subsidized housing locations, and delineating community facilities such as parks and retirement facilities. Data was also collected to understand and identify the extent of mining operations throughout the area. These datasets are dynamic and change based on regulations or property owner's discretion. The study team will continue to monitor and update each dataset accordingly. While the aerial imagery used as background for the figures and web map were last updated in December 2020, it is the best available aerial imagery for the study area to date. As a result, windshield and drone surveys combined with local outreach were conducted to supplement the aerial imagery until newer images are available. PennDOT is scheduled to fly the study area later this spring. The study team is maintaining all various datasets which can be viewed on the study web map at www.penndot.pa.gov/SCAC. At the September 2021 open house public meetings, PennDOT received comments regarding the build alternative corridor design criteria and locations. Since then, the team has been working to refine the planning level engineering criteria to address concerns. Modifications include reducing the design speed to minimize impacts through the use of shorter, more compact curves, and changes to the speed limits to match the roadway facilities adjacent to corridor alternatives. Median widths were narrowed from 60 feet to 36 feet in the more rural areas, and 18 feet in the densely developed and mountainous areas. The use of steeper slopes in areas of rock cuts was incorporated where applicable to reduce excavation and minimize the highway footprint. Local access of existing roadways with the various build alternative options was also evaluated. Collectively, these modifications generally promote narrower corridors during the planning level of development. In response to public comments, additional study was given to specific areas regarding the physical location of the build alternatives. The first such area was at the eastern end of the proposed US 322 corridors. In this location, comments and concerns were expressed that all the alternatives were located south of US 322. The southern location was initially developed as there are sensitive environmental features associated with Sinking Creek and connecting tributaries to the north. To evaluate alternative locations in this area, 2 additional corridor alternatives were developed and analyzed. These alternatives are presented at this meeting. The next build alternative location change was at the western end of the US 322 corridors at the connection with the Mount Nittany Expressway. In this area, the corridor alternatives were revised in conjunction with the previously discussed design modifications to better utilize the existing PennDOT right-of-way, thus minimizing potential impacts. Along the PA 144 corridor, the design criteria changes were implemented along with an investigation to determine if truck climbing lanes would be necessary at Nittany Mountain. As the project progresses into preliminary engineering and detailed environmental investigations, the design for those corridors that advance for further study will continue to be refined to best avoid and minimize potential impacts. Next steps in this Pell study are to identify build alternative corridors that should be advanced for further consideration in the preliminary engineering and detailed environmental investigations. Identify other independent transportation projects that local, county, and state officials should consider for funding and implementation, and document the Pell findings in an official report for public review and comment. More study details and information can be found on the boards developed for this open house and can be viewed either online at the study webpage, www.penndot.pa.gov/SCAC, or in person at the open house meeting. In the open house, study details and questions can also be discussed with study staff. Thank you for participating in the State College Area Connector Pell Study.